This is the story of two Japanese pioneers that left their country of origin behind and carved a new life for themselves and their family. A granddaughter that I had the extreme pleasure of meeting would argue that there is nothing special about our grandparents, that they were very ordinary people. I will let you be the judge. Eijiro Koyama was born November 8, 1881 in what is now known as Ikonishi in Japan. He was the oldest of 3 children. At age 18, he left his country and family, seeking adventure in this faraway land that was beckoning him, Canada. He left Japan from the port of Yokohama on board of a ship named Empress of Japan. The journey would typically take from 2 to 3 weeks. He arrived in Victoria and found work in the fishing industry and also on the railway for a few years. In 1904, having heard of the potential of fruit trees nurseries at the Coldstream Ranch, Eijiro sets out for Vernon. He traveled by train to Kamloops and then by horse and buggy. His younger brother, Tarokachi, later joined him at the ranch. 8 years later, Eijiro returned to Japan to meet his future bride, Fumi Fujioka. Fumi was born September 1, 1893, and was the oldest of 5 children. Her family was well-to-do, but her life of luxury, with maids and servants at her service, was soon to be over. Fumi and Eijiro were married on February 12, 1912. Their marriage had been arranged with the help of a go-between who knew both families. The newlyweds traveled back to Coldstream Ranch. While living at the ranch, their first 2 children were born. Firstborn daughter Kimi in 1914 was followed quickly by a brother Seishi in 1915. With already 2 children and likely more to come, Eijiro was feeling the need for larger quarters for his family. In 1916, Eijiro purchased 20 acres of land in what is now known as Lake Country. They borrowed a team of horses, nip and tuck, loaded their few belongings, and made the overnight trek to what would become their home. Eijiro had previously built a 4-room lean-to and had also fashioned furniture such as bed, chairs, and tables. As more children came along, Eijiro built additions to the house to accommodate his expanding family. Outbuildings were erected, and the couple acquired chickens and a few cows for butter and milk. As time went on, the farm became self-sufficient. The Koyama family kept growing. In 1917, twin boys came along, followed by a daughter in 1918. Another daughter joined the ranks in 1921, a son in 1923, followed by another daughter in 1925, and a baby boy in 1928. On occasion, Fumi would receive letters from her family in Japan, welcoming news from her relatives. The envelopes would be covered with colorful Japanese stamps, the paper folded like a scroll and written by brush. It would take up to a month for a letter to reach her. Life was hard, but there was still time for gatherings with friends and family. Lake Country has a substantial Japanese community, which at some point accounted for half of the population. The year 1930 was particularly cold. Okanagan Lake froze over and many people were sick. Pregnant with her 10th child, Fumi contracted pneumonia and was admitted to Kelowna General Hospital, where she gave birth prematurely to a daughter, Masai, on January 28, 1930. Weakened by pneumonia, Fumi died of a heart attack 10 days later. After Fumi's death, relatives took over the care of the baby. One windy day, they had gone to use a neighbor's bathhouse. While they were gone, the wind blew the curtains inward and they caught fire on a kerosene lantern. Masai died in the fire and has found her final resting place next to her mother in the old Wheelfield Cemetery. He wrote and received help at home from Miki Koyama, a widow that was then residing in Oyama. This relation turned into friendship, which eventually led to a marriage in 1948. Miki had also come from Japan, had married, and had 4 children. When World War II struck and Japan bombed Pearl Harbor, Canadian government reacted by relocating inland all Japanese Canadians living within 100 miles of the BC coast. Miki and her family then lived on Main Island. Her husband's fleet of 4 fishing boats were seized to never be returned, and they were relocated to Lemon Creek. They later left Lemon Creek and settled to Oyama. Although the relocation order did not displace Okanagan Japanese families, many felt some negative effect of the war being fought. Families that had been established for 2 generations were viewed with suspicion and treated less than kindly. As Ichiro and Miki were getting older, so were Ichiro's children, who by then had children of their own. He and his second wife, Miki, retired to Main Island, where they spent 9 years until Ichiro died of cancer in 1956. Ichiro was also buried in Winfield, but in a different cemetery. At the time, his family was told that there were to be no more burials at the old cemetery, a decision that was later reversed as tombstones indicate people being laid to rest there up until 1975. After Ichiro's death, his second wife, Miki, went back to Japan to live with her family. Fumi and Ichiro, ordinary people or not, one thing is for sure, they overcame many obstacles and accomplished some amazing things, making a home for themselves and for their descendants. To this day, the farm is still owned by a descendant of Ichiro and Fumi. If you drive by on Bottomwood Lake Road in Lake Country, you can see that same creek running through the property, as well as some of the old buildings still standing, albeit a bit drafty. With a little bit of imagination, you might be able to see the cows in the field, hear the clucking of the chickens and the laughter of the children running around their mother, who's busy hanging the laundry to dry.